couple things I forgot.
Oh, all right.
Am I recording now?
Are we recording now?
Am I talking into anything?
Yep, looks like we're ready to go.
Okay, yeah, we finished the 80s with Charlie being born with a bad heart thing and had to rush to Seattle, and they did some surgery. So yeah, that was 89. And that was the year that you and, or I should say Todd, the year that Todd and Chad that summer stayed with me every day and swam and.
We mowed the lawn too, didn't we? Didn't we mow the lawn too?
You guys? Did you?
We weren't mowing it back then.
God, I can't remember if you actually. No, you only were.
Oh yeah, only
you
like.
were 10, 11.
Yeah, I guess we weren't mowing it back then.
Maybe you were a little young for mowing. I don't remember you mowing, but I remember you mowed sometime, but I just don't remember when.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then the 80s, but what I forgot, around 87, that David and Rick and Grandpa went on a deer hunting trip in Montana.
No, John?
No, John never wanted to hunt. He was never interested. He wasn't interested, but then Chris was so against hunting that he never would take it up anyway.
Ah.
Because she was against shooting deer, birds, anything. She didn't like it. Although Grandpa did it all the time. And Alex, too, her
That's
son-in-law. Birds and the fishing. She doesn't mind fishing. But yeah, John was never into hunting. So yeah, David and Rick went to Montana with Grandpa and this friend of theirs, Carl, who lives there. He kind of was their guide. He knows his way around. And then, do you remember there was a big blizzard? I don't know if you remember that, because, well, you were.
Ice storm?
No, it was a regular blizzard in Montana, just a
Oh,
lot
in
of snow.
Montana.
And you'd only been 9 or so. But anyway, yeah, David and Carl went together, and Rick and they separated to go hunting. And then the storm came, and Carl and David got lost. And they couldn't find them. And I don't know what they went through trying to find them, but it ended up with Grandpa and Rick got together with a bunch of guys in some grill or bar or something, and they were forming a posse, like a search party. And it had been, I don't know how long they'd been missing, but it was a bad blizzard, and people die in these things. They're really bad. And I remember Dad telling me about it, and he said he was so worried that he said he cried for the first time since he was a boy, when his grandma died, when he was a boy. It's the last time he remembers crying. But he was so worried about David being in this, caught in the blizzard and never finding him. So they were forming the search party, and then in comes Carl and David into this grill. Carl knows his way around, so he found his way out somehow. So they came in. I don't know. I know Dad just said he was so relieved. So he said, I really just could have hugged him to death. And so that was the story of the blizzard of Montana. She loves playing with that ball. And then And then, too, in the 80s, they wanted David to come to ACS to work. And because they thought he probably wouldn't go real far at the timber, what'd you call it?
Idaho veneer.
Mm-hmm. Because, Bob had, 6 sons to take over.
That's right.
So, yeah, they wanted to get him into ACS, but they knew that he and David told him, too, that he couldn't work there if Grandpa was still there. They could not get along. They just didn't click on any subject. They just couldn't talk with each other. They just couldn't agree. So Rick called me and said, we want David, but he can't work with Dad. So he's gotta retire and you gotta keep him at home. So he said, it's you, meaning me, or us, meaning the guys. You or us. I said, okay, I can handle him. So we agreed that over the phone. Okay, I can handle him. I don't think I ever told Marty that. Well, yeah, they retired Marty and got David in there, and that was in '89. Yeah, he retired '89, so he was only 58.
Oh, wow.
And then now we're into the '90s, and so David's been there 30 years. And then we started, my dad died, we went on a cruise, we went on RV trips to Mexico in the '90s. And then Marty's mom, sister, brother-in-law, they all died. Yeah, the '90s were, a lot of people died that year, '90s. Ginny's husband, my sister Ginny, her husband died. And I flew back by myself for his funeral. And that was just after we moved up to Newport. Yeah, so we moved to Newport in '96. Well, in '95, that was our last RV trip, which we went to Florida. And we were with Ginny and Sid some, and then we spent the winter on Marathon Island there in the Florida Keys. Yeah, I think I got into that. Yeah, I did. On this.
Mm.
Yeah, spending the winter there. And then we went on the cruise with Ginny and Sid. And then back home, and then we found the place in Newport. So we moved there. Yeah, got a couple kitties. It was all good. You guys all helped us move. Yeah, we've been through that. Okay. Oh, and then the train trip in the '99, the train trip back east on Empire Builder. About a 4-day trip.
Mm.
It was neat. We had a cabin on the train, our own. You call it a cabin?
I think they call it a cabin.
I guess. We had our own cabin there. We'd go to the dining car to eat, though. Okay, so that was '99. Oh, and then the family reunion on the way back.
That's right.
In North Dakota. And it was Eunice's family, not the Solbergs. It's all Eunice's bunch, the Thompson family reunion.
Okay.
Thompson. And so that was real fun. We had a good time there. So that's the end. That was '99. And it was that fall that I found Maggie. She was a little kitty, '99. And we had 2 cats already. We had Dickweed. Dickweed and Rosie.
And where did you get those cats? Did you buy them at the pet store? Or they just strays?
No, we'd gotten Rosie and her brother Roscoe. Chris got them as scraps at a pound or something.
Okay.
She thought we needed 2 kitties. You gotta have 2, to keep each other company. And it was a brother and sister. But Roscoe didn't last too long. He had an inherited some kind of stomach disease, and he died. And Rosie was a carrier of this because the mom had died of that, the kitty's mom. So we just had Rosie, but she was alone. So at the vet's, I asked if they had a kitty we could adopt. And we adopted one called Starbuck. He'd been a kitty at the vet's, Starbuck. So we brought him home, and Rosie loved him. They had a good time together. And he was very young, but he went and ran on the road, and he got hit by a car.
That road wasn't even that busy, was it? In Newport?
Well, from us, from Cusick, I don't know, from Canada, I don't know. There was traffic, and big truck now and then, and people that lived up that way.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, he was probably chasing a squirrel or something. Anyway, our neighbor found him and brought him over, and darn. So we buried Starbuck, and then Rosie was alone. So I was at the vet's one day and saw, they always had what do they call them, a company cat, one that they adopt there at the office. So it was laying around, and it looked like Rosie. It was the same coloring. I said, can I adopt him? And Rosie needs some company. And they had named him Dickweed because he was mischievous and into things, kind of like this one. That's how cats are, curiosity. So yeah, Dickweed, we like that name. So we got Dickweed, and Maggie, yeah, the kids were giving away kitties at the Safeway. And our neighbor had lost his kitty on the road. So we asked him if he wanted a kitty, and he said, we went to his house from Safeway and told him there were kids giving away kitties. And he and his wife, they said, all right. So we went back to Safeway and got Maggie. Just a little kitty. And it was cold. I had on a winter coat. So I tucked Maggie in my coat, and took her to Wink and Hulda were their names. Sounds pretty Norwegian, doesn't it? Hulda. Yeah, they loved Maggie. But it didn't last too long because he died. Her husband, Wink.
Oh.
I don't know what his real name was. He was always Wink to us, Wink. And another neighbor was Chub. Oh gosh. So anyway, their daughter, then Hulda went into a nursing home. So their daughter was taking care of Maggie, she lived next door to them. And she came to us and said, Maggie's so lonesome, would you take her in to live with you? And we had 2 cats. So we said, okay. So we took Maggie, although she had to go through quite a long quarantine at the vet's office because of her inherited disease. I forget how long, 2 weeks or something. And then they cleared her, and so then we had 3 cats, and Maggie and Rosie just loved Dickweed. The 2 girls, they loved Dickweed. That's them. Maggie, Rosie, and Dickweed on the bed up there in Newport.
Nice.
And then we had, so yeah, Maggie's really since, well, just about 2000. Found her in 99 and we didn't have her too long. So yeah, I had Maggie for 21 years. That's old for a cat. Anyway, let's see. So that's around 2000. Oh, we're up to 2000 now. Give me Maggie. So 2001 was 9/11, but we'd already made plans for a cruise to the Panama Canal. And 9/11 was September when our canal trip was, I think, October. But it went through. We thought Mike had canceled it, but so we went. We went in September we flew to Seattle. The cruise went from Seattle, San Francisco down to Mexico, and then to the Panama Canal. I forget quite the order there. The Panama Canal, it's kind of between Mexico and Central America.
Yep.
It was a long cruise, long one. So that was 2001. We ended up in Florida and rented a car and drove to Ginny's. Yeah, she lived alone then. So we drove there and spent some time with her, and then we flew home. No cruise that time. Well, we just came for the Panama Canal cruise. Okay, so that's 2001. And then, this is 2000s, goes on to your guys' graduations from college, you and Chad. I think you graduated the same year.
I think I was earlier, just like a few months
You were
earlier. Just a few months. But yeah, I think it was the same year.
I know we went to Bellingham for you, and did we go to Portland for his?
Yeah.
God, I can't remember. Jeez. Yeah, I dimly remember his because Jenna was graduating at the same time. I think that's when we first met Jenna. Yeah. So you were after Chad?
Before.
You were before?
But yeah, I was on the 5-year program. Chad was on the 4-year program.
Bellingham. I kind of remember Bellingham too. I remember taking pictures outside. I mean, like, and I think we all ended up at some kind of apartment or somewhere where we stayed.
My
Or a
apartment.
rental. Was it your apartment?
Oh, we had cake. I remember we had cake at my apartment. But we had dinner at, I think it's called Dirty Dan's, some steak place. Those are the pictures I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got pictures too. Gotta get those out. Okay, so you guys graduated, was it 2002?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so 2002, that was a big year then. And 2003, okay, those 10 years started the grandkids' weddings and great-grandkids being born. That was that chapter, that decade. Yeah, first Chad got married, 2003, the same time as Grandpa was having a kidney transplant.
That's right.
At 6 o'clock on a Friday, on July 11th. They were both 6 o'clock, the kidney thing and the wedding. Oh,
And where was he? Was Grandpa in Spokane at the hospital there, or did they have to fly him to Seattle?
We were in Seattle, because we lived in 2003. Yeah, we were still in Newport. We drove. Chad. No, it was Spokane.
Yeah, because you were at the wedding, and the wedding was in Spokane.
Yeah. You were the one, you were over in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad's, they had moved, he and Jenna, they were in Spokane. I don't know if they were living together, but they were here. I don't know if they had an apartment. Yeah, we were driving from Newport in for the wedding, and David had arranged at the Spokane Club, he'd arranged a room for us and a room for my sister Ginny and her boyfriend. And so we're on the road on Highway 2, coming towards Spokane, and the phone rings, and it's the doctor saying, "We've got a kidney for you." Because he was on the list waiting, and you got to be in here at 6 o'clock in the morning. I think we were driving in like on Thursday. And the rehearsal dinner was Friday night, and then the wedding was, the wedding Saturday, Friday night or Saturday?
Oh, probably would have
Must
been Saturday.
Yeah, it had to be Saturday. Okay, so yeah, we went to the room at the,
I'm good.
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
Being pretty quiet today.
I know.
All right.
at the Spokane Club. And then we all went to the rehearsal dinner, and you were there.
Yep.
And, yeah, Bruce and Jennifer, just everybody. Her sister from Georgia, and of course we told them all that he had to have the kidney thing the next day during the wedding. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we had the nice rehearsal dinner there at the Spokane Club, and then in the morning, John took us to this, like a motel right near Providence Hospital, which is where we stayed for the next week or so. So Grandpa went straight into the hospital, and I went to this new room. And then that night was Chad's wedding. I think it was 6 o'clock.
I think you're right.
So yeah, John and Chris picked me up, it's all pretty close there, the hospital where I stayed and the Spokane Club. So they took me to the Spokane Club, or, no, they took me straight to the wedding. Yeah, they did. Then from the wedding, we all went back to the Spokane Club. And that's when they were on the phone calling the hospital to see how the operation went, because that was done. Well, Chad got married. Remember the two sisters?
That's right.
Kind of fainted. Well, one fainted. One fainted.
And
Yeah,
they,
that was quite a night, wasn't it? July 11th, 2003. Okay. Okay. So that was his wedding. And I think we were at the hospital for another week or so. I can't remember how long. But to keep him from rejecting the kidney, they had to give him this stuff called prednisone. You ever hear of that?
oh yeah, I took a lot of that as a kid.
You took a lot?
Steroids for asthma. Yeah, for my asthma.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened there?
Oh, it's just still recording. It just lit up for some reason.
Oh, it was your phone.
Nope. We're good.
Anyway, this prednisone can affect if you already got an inclination to be kind of irritable or impatient,
Oh yeah.
exaggerated. And so the nurses around there, they were used to these patients. They just call them crazy. And they, can handle these crazy patients, because they would be kind of mean and not very nice at all.
Well, I'm sure he took a lot more than I did. I didn't get an organ replaced, so
Okay.
I'm sure his amount was a lot more.
Wow. Because I remember, he did get a nurse or two maybe crying a little, saying snippy things. And so they were getting ready to release him, and the doctor told me how he would be kind of irritable and impatient, and I said, the doctor says, you think you can handle him? I said, yeah, I can. So that's how that stuff affects him. And he had to take it for a couple of years.
Oh wow.
And every time we had visited the doctor for checkups, I would keep saying, could you cut it down? Could you cut it down a little more, get it down? Because, he would each time cut it down a few milligrams or whatever. But he was still taking it, I think for 2 or 3 years. So it affected his personality, except his personality was inclined, being he'd been a sergeant in the Army, so he was used to yelling at guys. And then running ACS for all those years, he was used to yelling at employees. And a lot of employees he upset, and he'd get the girls into tears sometimes. So he had that way, I don't know just what you call it, but the medicine just made it worse. So anyway, all right, we went back home. This is 2003. Then we drove over to Tacoma and bought a fifth wheel. And went to, where'd we go? Oh, Texas, for the winter. Went for Texas in the fifth wheel. No more Mexico.
And it snowed in Texas for the first time in 100 years. Let's see if she'll get to that.
Yeah, we finished Mexico in the 80s, I guess. when we went to Baja. Baja. Well, that's what I forgot, was Baja. That was in the right after Charlie's, oh, I forgot, 90s, 93, when Charlie had to have the big operation when he was 4. The big final operation on the heart. And
I know my house.
right after, and we had spent a lot of the summer in Seattle because we would, Shelley's parents too, and we'd take turns sitting with Charlie. So he was never alone. So we sat, because he was there for July, August, September, October, 4 months. So we were over there a lot, you know? And we ran home to Spokane and went down to Tri-Cities and got our big trailer. Yeah, that was just a trailer, not the fifth wheel. And that's what we took to Texas. And anyway, so we took that to Texas, spent the winter there, had a good time in Texas.
Which city were you in? Or
We were
all
near,
over?
we were on the East Coast, near Corpus Christi,
That's it, Corpus Christi.
I think fairly near Houston maybe.
And it snowed, didn't it?
Hmm?
No.
Didn't it snow? I thought you guys were in Texas one time and it snowed. Maybe that's a different time.
No, I didn't hear all that. Well,
Didn't it snow when you were there in Texas? I thought you guys were in a snowstorm.
we were once. I think that was back in the 70s when
Oh.
we
That
came
was in
through.
2001.
Because we were around Dallas and there was snow.
Grandma's
I
mistaken.
kind of remember that. It was very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not this time, not in the fifth wheel, no. Okay, so, the fifth wheel, we left Texas, went to California, because there was some repair we needed on the fifth wheel. I'm thinking, the fifth wheel. I'm trying to think when Dad, I've forgotten his open heart surgery. Oh, God. That was in the 90s. That was coming home from Baja. We left Baja. He was having some chest trouble. A little pain, trouble breathing. And I know on our way home, we're heading out of Baja, and we parked at a park one night, an RV park, and it rained, and we had the dog Ty with us, Brittany. In the morning, I let him out, and he went to come back in, and there was a problem with the grounding of electricity somehow in this park. And when he stepped on the trailer step, he got a terrific shock.
Who did, Ty or Grandpa?
No, Ty.
Oh.
Yeah, it was Ty that got it, but Grandpa ran out and tried to pick him up and help him back in. And the animals in the shock, he bit him, I forget, in the hand or somewhere, a bad bite. He was really bleeding a lot. And the animal doesn't mean to do it, they're just in a terrible shock. So we got him in, and the dog and Grandpa both bleeding all over inside in the kitchen area. Well, anyway, we got ourselves together and drove to the border. I think that's where we missed the turn to the border. And we had to, I think a taxi driver or something like that came by, and we asked him if he could lead us to the border. By then, we were in our trailer, pulling it through downtown Tijuana. Tijuana. at rush hour. God, we were lost. And we just had missed the turn to the border somehow. So he led us there, and all right, so, and all this, Grandpa's heart was getting him. So to cross the border straight into whatever's the first city, God, I can't remember.
San Diego.
First city there in California. Anyway, we went straight to the first trailer park, and straight from there we went over to like an urgent care place, or I don't know if it was a hospital or what, or doctor. Anyway, they said he was in bad shape. His blood pressure was over 200. It was bad. And they said, get yourself home to your own hospital and doctor. And you're gonna need some surgery or whatever. Anyway, so we knew we were in trouble. So we whisked up the coast. I know the minute we got home, he went to see Dr. Young, what's it back then, I think. They put him in the hospital right that day. So he had the surgery, triple heart bypass, the next day. I mean, this was all fast, very quick. And I know Janet and her dad, Bob, I forget why they went to our house. Well, we were at the hospital. They went there to help take care of something or other, and they saw that the car had a flat tire in the garage. And Bob changed the tire. Because I had to be driving it then to the hospital every day after that. And what a time that was. But yeah, open heart surgery. So that was 94. 94. Okay, that was the trip to Baja. Okay, now we're back up to Texas in 2004. Oh, that's right, we're coming up the coast. And we had a big problem with the truck, which Rick is driving to this day. He's got the truck.
Oh, really?
He still has it.
Was it
The
the
green
same
one?
truck?
The green one or the gray one?
No, it was a different truck. Yeah, it was the same truck. Yeah, 2004,
Oh yeah, you got to be the Dodge.
it was a Dodge Ram,
Yeah.
green.
Yep. That is the
That's
same
it.
one.
Yeah, it's the same truck. But we wore out the clutch. We had a real hard time parking it in the Texas RV park, and it was forwards and backwards, and forwards and backwards, and over and over trying to get it parked. Well, it just wore out the clutch. So we're driving home, didn't realize that we were just north of San Francisco, and it quit altogether. We managed to get to the side of the road. We're pulling this 26-foot trailer. Wow. So of course there's come the cops. And they called the tow truck, which took us to a place where they repaired, auto repair thing. And we were there all weekend. This was in February of '95, and it was Super Bowl weekend. So we spent the weekend in the fifth wheel watching the Super Bowl while they worked on our truck. But it was all weekend, so I guess they weren't working too much till Monday, I don't know. So yeah, we were there all weekend. This was Eureka, around Eureka, California, Northern California. Okay, 95. I declare.
Man.
Why does their whole life you just remember all the tough stuff that happened? Otherwise, the life just goes on just normally or daily. But then the, the, the bumps, but that's just how it is. Everybody remembers all the, not just necessarily bad stuff, but stuff. So anyway, we got home finally. In the fifth wheel, back to Newport. And we never went anywhere again in the fifth wheel. And traded it for the Duckworth.
Oh,
And he loved that Duckworth. And he was happy to trade the fifth wheel. He was done with RVing. I was done with RVing too. So we're up to 95. Got the Duckworth. But he was never in very good shape after that, really, to use the duck. He didn't, took it out on the river some, did a little fishing, never took it anywhere else. The Duckworth. Actually, when we moved, and David was hauling that Duckworth, and when he got to the end of Leclerc, he's thinking, should he turn left or right? Because left would go over to Priest Lake with the Duckworth. Right would bring it into Newport. Because he wanted this. Oh, but he turned right. He brought it in, but we just had to park it in the compound there, and he never used it. The Duckworth. What's a Duckworth? Oh, about 10 cents. It's always a joke, a Duckworth. Yeah, we traded that fifth wheel for the Duckworth, traded it even. And the fifth wheel was worth about 40,000. So I guess the Duckworth was supposedly worth about 40,000 then. Something like that.
Huh.
It's a neat boat.
At the end? That was the end. Alright, we're gonna take a short break before getting to the last one. Toodles.